Hey everybody, Mike Steele here with Barbecue Champs Academy Live, and we have got a great show lined up for you tonight with three big, huge winners this past weekend from the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. We got Mr. Dwayne Turnbo, who was double reserve grand champion. We have Mr. Robert Smith, who's now a four-time world barbecue champion and one of Barbecue Champ Academy's very own pitmasters. And also we have got Chris Hatcher, who was world champion in ribs, first place with Chat and Chew Barbecue. So we've got a great show lined up. It was really lucky to be able to catch all three of these guys right after this big event. I think it was a little over 250 teams. So it's going to be great to hear all about it. Last week we had Justin on talking about, coming into the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo after winning ribs last year. They had another pretty good outing this year as well. So now we'll get to kind of recap and talk to three guys that had an amazing weekend down at Houston. So we'll have a lot of question and answers, and as y'all come in, let us know. We always like to kind of give everybody a chance to give us a shout. Again. All right, can you hear me now? So if y'all can hear me, let me know. Don't know why that happened. Let's see, Chuck, thank you for being with us, and congratulations on all the walks in Houston. Yep, Carly did very, very well. That is for sure. Congratulations to her. Caitlin Crane, thank you for being here. Happy Tuesday to you. Mr. David, thank you for being with us tonight, brother. Gunnar Wilhelm in the house. Absolutely love their knives. They're part of my arsenal everywhere I go. So can hear you. Okay, I guess you can hear me now. I saw my mic had got kicked off. Jennifer, I see that you were kind of sick. I hope that you are doing better. Seemed like Robert's caught some of that mess down there as well. So get well, girl. Greg, thank you for being with us tonight. And who else we got? Brenda, thank you for being with us. Sergio, thank you for being all the way from Pleasanton, Texas. Glad to have you with us. Mr. Jack, thank you, brother, for being with us. I was certainly hoping we might get a chance to see you drop by in Irving. There had about 30-plus teams. I think it was 30 or 31 teams there this weekend. So it would have been great if you could have got by, but I understand why you couldn't. I hope your wife is doing better. Thank you for being with us, brother, all the way from the Valley. And Terry Roan, brother, I hope you're doing good. You've certainly been in my thoughts and prayers, Terry. I hope things are going good for you as well. Merv, appreciate you being with us. Mr. Danny Titus down in South Louisiana, glad you're here. Robert's in the other room, and he says, hey, everybody. So we're going to get Robert on here in just a minute. Jennifer is on the mends. Good. It doesn't hurt to have a few little drugs to help get all that bad crud away from you. So, Brandy, thank you for being here. Mr. Bill Purvis, driving down the road, heading home. So he said, I'm going to catch the show tonight. Appreciate you being with us tonight, Bill. And I'll tell you what, man, that was a fabulous looking bird that you cooked. Alan Jackson, thank you for being here all the way from Nebraska. Stephen, thank you, brother, for being here from Saginaw, Texas. Congratulations on your big grand champion win in Irving this weekend. You put on a clinic for us, and it was great to see you get those walks and get that grand champion again. Mark, thank you for being with us. I think I got a chance to meet you this weekend in Irving. It was really nice that you came up. Let us know that you always watch our show, so we appreciate you being with us. Haley Joe, thank you for being with us all the way from Buffalo, Texas. So, we got quite a few folks steadily coming in. It's only a few minutes in. We got about 40 folks. Just sit tight. Gonna give folks just a few more minutes to come in. We really hate people missing any part of the shows, and when we bring our guest in. Got a couple more folks that's coming in. As you come in, throw your name up in the comment area and let us know where you're from. We always kind of like to see how far and wide we're reaching. Certainly do want to always thank our partners. We certainly do appreciate Prairie Fresh and all their support. Lone Star Barbecue Pro Shop, Mr. Brian Crawford and his awesome products that he's got. Mr. Wild Bill with Texas Select Seasoning, certainly appreciate him. David was on here, is on our show tonight with Gunnar Wilhelm Knives. Thank you for your support, David, and those awesome knives that you've got. Dustin Stanley at the barbecue store has been working hard with Joey Smith and Texas Chrome. They had a 6-pack last year. They've put together 9 competitions this year that are CBA, and I think they're all state championships. I could be wrong, but I know they've been working hard on that, and we always appreciate Dustin at the barbecue store support. Mr. John Lindsay with All Queued Up, and my dear friend Miss Gail down at Daigle's Barbecue Sauces and Rubs. Appreciate her so much. She's got some great rubs and sauces as well. So appreciate all of our partners. I see a few more folks have done popped in here, so let me see if I can get over here and find them. Where's my comments? There we go. Ron, thank you for being here. Beans go in chili. Yes, they do, because chili without beans is hot dog sauce. So anyway, let's don't get that started. Let's see. Trenton, thank you for being here from Seabrook, Texas. Glad you're with us. Jeff, thank you for being here from Seminole, Texas. Verrill, thank you for being here. I know you're all the way up in Portland, Oregon. Justin, thank you for being with us tonight from Magnolia, Texas. Kimberly, all the way from Port Lavaca, Texas. Maybe I've got that right. Karen, thank you for being here. And Clint, thank you for being here. Those Turnbo Barbecue Company rubs are fine. Apparently so. He had a pretty deadgum good weekend. So, Nathan, glad you're with us. Congratulations on your big win this weekend, brother. And let's see who else we got. Ray, thank you for being here from Jersey City, New Jersey. Man alive, we got them from everywhere. Coast to coast. New Jersey all the way to Portland, Oregon. Stacy, thank you for being with us. Bo, thank you for being with us tonight. Mike, appreciate you being here. Brenda, we appreciate you being here from Texas as well. Joseph, we thank you for coming in. Hi from the Gobbles Open Pit Barbecue, upstate New York. Wow, this is awesome. Jared, we appreciate you being here all the way from Cypress, Texas. Juke, thank you for being here. Congrats on all your calls this weekend. Thank you, sir. We rolled over to Irving, Texas as well. Stephen put on a clinic and won the grand champion. We picked up a couple calls. We had a 6th place rib, a 10th place brisket, 11th place chicken, and finished 4th overall. I think there was 31 or 32 teams. Juke, it was great seeing you this weekend, man. Keep it up, brother. And we got Harold all the way from Marble Falls, Texas as well. Well, look, we're about 10 minutes in, almost 10 minutes in. We got about 51 folks on. As Fred Robles would say, we've now got 53,000 people on. So let's start bringing in some of our guests. We're going to bring in one of Barbecue Champ's very own, Mr. Robert Smith, with First Class Barbecue. He is now a 4-time world barbecue champion. Hello, brother. How are you doing?
Oh, I could say I was great, but man, I'm just good today.
Just getting by, huh? Robert, if you haven't seen the news, he had a 1st place brisket at the Houston Livestock Show Rodeo this past weekend. They gave him his 4th world champion. He's had one or two world champions there before. Robert, I know you had a rib call.
I've had, this will be my 3rd from rodeo.
From rodeo. Okay, so it's been 2 in ribs?
So I've had, so I've had 2 in ribs. Well, so actually that's 5. So I've had 2 in ribs, 1 in the Dutch oven, and this year was brisket, and then, of course, we won World Food.
World Food. Hell, I tell you what, man.
Dessert. There you go. That was definitely a group effort.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, congratulations, man. Another huge win for you. And we'll talk a little bit about that and your win and how many times that you've been there. I was shocked when you told us how many times you've cooked rodeo. So next up, we got Mr. Chris Hatcher with Chat and Chew Barbecue. Chris, man, congratulations to you. You had a huge weekend. You showed up and showed out. Your first world championship in ribs at the rodeo this past weekend. Congratulations, man. And for somebody that's only cooked a few times in the last, year and a half, 2 years, man, you showed up and showed out as well. That is for sure.
Thank you. Yeah, it was pretty shocking, to say the least.
Right. Well, you're a damn good cook. That's no doubt about that. But to set off as long as you did, and I know it's been at least a year and a half, and to come out and just crush it the way you did, man. We're going to talk a little bit about that. How the heck did you set off so long and just come rolling in there and do what you did? So, and now the man of the hour, also the reserve. Let's rephrase that. The double reserve grand champion, Mr. Dwayne Turnbo, Turnbo Barbecue Company. Man, Dwayne, congratulations, man. You had a huge weekend down there. Doubled up and got the reserve grand champion for the Go Texan and the overall. And I'll get you to explain a little bit about that. For those that don't know, I know a little bit about it, but I'd like a little bit more detail. But man, congratulations for what you did as well.
Hey, thank you.
Well, let's start with you, Dwayne. Tell us a little bit about rolling into this, and what your thought process was coming into it. Had you cooked rodeo before? And how, and tell us a little bit about the double reserve grand champion and how that worked.
Yeah, so this is my third year cooking the rodeo. Cooked it in 20, and then 22, and then this year in 23. And in 20, I finaled in ribs. So my first shot out there, I finaled in ribs, which was a pretty exhilarating thing. And I made a traditional savory, spicy rib. I get rib calls a lot of places I go, and as cliche as it may sound, I don't inject ribs, and I don't use a lot of sugar. I make a sweet, spicy rib, and it tends to work at most places. Right. And so I didn't want to change anything going into this year with my ribs because I finaled before, so I didn't change anything. The only thing I changed was my brisket, and by that I mean I just ran a little bit cleaner smoke. My drum tends to put out some pretty heavy smoke when that brisket starts dripping on them coals. So this year I decided to put a diffuser in a pan and run a little bit cleaner, and it worked. I mean, I finaled in brisket, and it was a very good brisket. It wasn't bitter. There was no nasty charcoal smoke from the drum or anything on it, and so I think that change is kind of what helped me.
Right.
And then I went a little bit lighter on the sauce than what I previously had in previous years.
Right. Just a real thin glaze of sauce. So
just according to my notes that I wrote down in the years past, I just made a couple of small tweaks, and it worked for me.
Wow. So how did you finish? What was your 3 walks to get you reserve grand champion?
So I finished 9th in brisket, and I was 13th in ribs. So I wasn't too far off there on ribs. And then my chicken was 56. So the overall points obviously adds up, to reserve champion. And I think I was only 1.5 points, maybe 2 points away from being grand overall.
Oh, wow.
It wasn't a big spread between Jasper County and myself.
Wow, man, that is crazy close. So, man, that is awesome. It looks like you just had an amazing cook. Tell us how the double reserve grand champion. So it's an overall and it's a Texan. Do you know exactly how that works?
I'm probably going to butcher it because I only understand it a little bit. I don't know if anybody truly understands it, but I know you have the 68 counties that are out there cooking. So whenever you cook for a county, which I cook for McLennan, I got on because a good friend of mine is the ambassador of McLennan County's Go Texan. So so whenever you turn in for the Go Texan County stuff, you enter in I guess it's a county-wide cook-off, which is 68 teams. And so your score tallies up between all the counties, and then you have your Go Texan Awards and Go Texan Overall and Reserve. But then your scores also carry to the main competition, which therefore puts you in the overall with everybody else. So the Go Texan people are really cooking 2 cook-offs in one, the way I can interpret it.
Okay. Robert, did he get that right? We'll ask the guy that's been cooking for 20 years down there.
Go ahead.
Yeah. He hit it. Just directly on it. Used to, which I know, Mr. Stone. They made a rule. Used to, those teams actually weren't competing in the big cook-off, so they were just on that side. But whenever he came in, he decided that it wasn't really fair for those those teams to not be able to compete, basically what they call the big boys.
Right.
And so it makes it really, really nice now that, I mean, hey, if you're a champion, you're a champion. It doesn't matter where the hell you come from.
Wow, that's pretty cool. So, well, it sounds like you've had just an absolute amazing cook, Dwayne. I mean, to go down there and do that, and it's your third year of cooking down there, you turned in some solid cooks. I mean, man, if that chicken was just obviously one or two places higher, you would have probably got got grand champion, right?
And
so
even when I was at the grocery store buying I bought organic chickens. When I was at the grocery store buying them dang air chilled chickens, my instinct told me, put those back. You never cook them. Don't use them. They don't hold salt. And my other side of my head said, no, I want these because they don't have jaundice like the HEB ones do.
Right. Wow. So what did you cook? Well, you normally cook HEB natural chickens.
I do.
Yeah.
I ran some air chilled chickens. I thought, I don't know what I thought. I just figured Houston, why not? Well, the boxes are real small at Houston. Traditionally, they're real small. So you need a very, very small chicken down here.
To get it in a box. Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy. Well, Robert, how did you end up getting into the big show? Now, I knew it was 20 years. That's why we was picking on you. If anybody will know how these rules work, it'll be you. So, 20 years in, tell us a little bit about how it all transpired for you, starting basically in January.
Of course, I've been competing at rodeo for 20 years, and was really looking forward to this year. And if everybody knows, I've always cooked for the bull, and they decided this year in January, right around January the 28th, I got an email, and they decided they were not going to cook barbecue this year at rodeo. So I scrambled, and I didn't really want to put it out there that I was looking for a team because I didn't want all those, crazy emails and this and that. And I really wanted to cook with somebody that I really, that I trust and that I want to be with. So the team next door to us is a Chicken Shack, and their team was retiring this year. And they said that I could come in and do their turn-ins, and they would feed the mass crowd and everything like that. And so, hey, we were good to go. I got a call Wednesday morning of rodeo, and they said that they no longer wanted me to do their turn-ins. They was their last year. They wanted to do them.
Oh, God.
So
this is Wednesday before the rodeo?
It's Wednesday move-in day.
And so you was in, you was out. Oh,
Yep.
you was out, you was in, and now you're out again.
Now I'm out again. So it left me kind of just scrambling a little bit. And there's a team that always able but confused out of Waller County that's been cooking down there for, man, I can't. There's not a day. I don't 40 some plus odd years. And the gentlemen are just super guys. And I reached out to them and I said, hey, I'm available. And first thing they said was, how fast can you get here?
Wow. Wow. Yeah, I mean, 3-time world champion calls. Yeah. How fast can you get here? Ain't that for sure? So 20 years experience cooking down there. Wow. So what did you do? I mean, did you have anything ready or?
They were already moved in, and of course they didn't have a whole lot. They didn't have a whole lot of room, and so I just hooked onto the trailer, come up 290, and started hitting HEBs. And the first HEB I came to didn't have any chickens. Of course, we have prairie fresh ribs at the restaurant, so but I didn't have a brisket. I didn't have chickens, so wound up making the circle and wound up finding a couple of chickens at Whole Foods, and still didn't have a brisket. But I had to get in before cutoff, and so I hauled butt down there and started making some started reaching my hand out, and of course this same conversation I had with about 50 different people.
Right.
They were trying to figure out why I didn't have a brisket at rodeo.
Right.
So, but I reached out to Ashley, and Ashley had a brisket. Stacy brought me a brisket, and Purvis had a spare brisket that we took from Fred.
I got you.
And, you won't tell Fred.
Yeah, don't tell Fred. Wow.
So and like I said, you know, going to rodeo, man, rodeo's rodeo. It's a great competition. You're surrounded by some of the greatest cooks in the world, and I believe everybody goes into rodeo unprepared. Whether if you don't have a brisket, or if you don't have a slab of ribs, or if you don't have something happened getting there. You may have blew a tire or something like that. I just didn't have a brisket.
Right.
I had everything else, and that's one of the great things about barbecue. And you know, we all share this all the time. You know, I'm at the World Championships with of course, with you gentlemen, and with 280 something other guys. And who the hell wants to give me a brisket?
Right. Right. And you had 3 people give you a brisket.
I had 3 people give me a brisket, and I'm pretty sure that there would have been about 250 other guys would have gave me a brisket too. And that's what that's a great thing about what barbecue is, and what we do. And it was just a hell of a cook. It was
right.
The stars align, and when the stars align, you know, everything happens. You just, you know, and especially the biggest thing about rodeo is you just throw big rocks.
Right.
That's all you can do. Is you can hope that you get on a good table, and hope that you turn in the best product that you can. If you don't make the stage, man, you just don't make the stage. But make sure that your product that you're turning in is worthy of making the stage. And man, that's all we could do. We just we swung for the fence, and the biggest thing is because, you know, brisket is turning in so late.
Right.
I'm not really doing it for 20 years down there, but I still don't know if they're drinking in there. But I was assuming they were. So I just covered it in salt and barbecue sauce and throwed it to them.
Right. Wow. That is crazy. So how does the rounds work? You know, I know, like, you know, outlaw, it's multiple rounds, or, you know, is it like CBA? Is it one round? Or tell me how that works, because I don't know how that works.
You're basically judged on one round. Used to, there was multiple rounds, whatever, back about 5 or 6 years ago, when they would come back and get a second sample from you, which was, woohoo, you guys didn't cook then, you ain't missing nothing. So you're only tagging, you know, let me kind of swing you guys back to about 5 or 6 years ago. You were still tagging 2 briskets, never again. Well, Ashley probably doesn't know, but we're going to tell the whole world that brisket that Ashley gave me was the one that we won the world with.
Okay. Wow. So the one that Ashley, it wasn't the one Bill gave you, it wasn't the other one, it's the one that Ashley gave you.
It was the one that Ashley gave me.
I'll be dadgum. That's awesome. Thank you, Ashley. I'm sure he appreciates that.
So 5 or 6 years ago, you were able to still tag 2 ribs, 2 chickens, 2 briskets, and if you made the finals, it's kind of like Memphis and May. If you made the finals, they would come back around and get another sample.
Right.
So they realized that it was just too hard, because you were turning in 1 slab of ribs, you know, trying to make the finals, and then you put another slab of ribs on that would be ready later on that day. Right. And you know, it was hard, but I mean, we won it twice in ribs whenever we were doing it that way. And then, like I said, it's tough, but you know, going into it now, there's five judges, and those you turn in and you're judged by 5 people. It's just single round. Right. I'm not sure what they did with those other 10 slices of brisket and those other. But I'm gonna tell you something right now. If there's any of you barbecue people out there that are watching this, you try and put 10 slices of brisket in a box that's 6 by 8.
Oh my God!
It's 5 3/4 on the bottom.
Oh wow!
I just rounded up to 6.
Yeah, wow!
So it's 6 inches. 6 inches at the bottom, and it's 8 inches, barely 8 inches at the top.
Yeah.
And then you got to put 10 slices in it?
Yep.
Wow.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Half of a chicken.
Oh my gosh, and a half chicken. Yeah, I bet it has to be a small chicken. So, Wow,
Yeah,
that's just
if you come into rodeo with anything over a 4-pound bird, you're just SOL. You better be cutting it up and putting it in the box.
Yeah, Justin said a 4.2 pound bird barely fit. So, wow. Lid was busting
Yeah,
at the seams. Wow. So you
yeah,
basically need about a 3.5, 3.7 pound chicken just to get it in the box. Wow.
yeah. We always take about a 4-pound bird because it's got all the giblets, it's got all that stuff
Right.
still in it. So you're still right around a 3.5-pound bird. So,
Wow.
but yeah, nothing. If you take anything over 4, you can just forget it. But
Wow. That
and
is crazy.
it's so it's a half a chicken. I think I didn't go to the meeting for a chicken, and I know none of us won chicken, but I wish that gentleman was here. But I seen multiple boxes where there was half chickens, there was people cutting up chicken, there was people slicing birds, and
Yeah.
I don't. The rules for rodeo are rodeo rules.
Yep,
Right.
there you go. Even with the 10 slices, I learned that's rodeo rules.
That's rodeo rules.
I was told, how do you interpret that?
Yep.
As 10 slices. Define a
Pretty
slice.
Define a slice. And if anybody's seen Fred's box this week,
yeah,
Yep.
yeah. I mean,
Those-
I'm not to let any secrets out. I mean, I only, if you looked at my box, it was only 8 slices, but
Yep.
the back 2 slices I cut to make 4, and then I fanned it out real nice and pretty, so that way there's 10 slices, but it looked prettier because there was actually 8 laying flat. I've seen some pictures of some guys jumbling up 10, and that's what I did last year and thought, that's ugly. So I went and asked somebody that was close to me that's won brisket out there a few times. I said, how are you doing this? And he told me. And then I went and asked our head judge, and he said, well, how do you interpret it? I said, just like I just said. He goes, okay, there you go.
Yep.
So you
That's
took
good.
a slice and cut it in half, and now that's 2 slices.
That's 2.
that's
and
2.
you put 2 of them in the back, so that 2 slices counted as 4.
Yep.
And then you put 6 more in front of it that
Yeah.
were solid slices.
I fanned 6 more, so the box looked full, it looked pretty, and if they counted it, there's technically 10 slices because the rules do not define a single slice, so it's whatever you think.
Wow.
So
wow.
that's what we call it. We call it rodeo rules.
Rodeo rules. I learned it this year. After 3 years, I finally learned what they were talking about.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So-
Wow.
Yeah, so it's like I said, we all have pit bosses, and they all went to different schools.
Yeah.
They all went to different schools to be the pit bosses.
Right.
So it's you can like I said, I've been there for 20 years, and I've had the same pit boss a couple of times, and but every year I get a different pit boss. I get a different definition of what everything is.
You get a different set of
Everything
rules.
is all
Every year.
Wow. That is
It's
insane.
It's fun.
It's,
It's challenging, but it's something that if a lot more competition guys had that chance, they would pitch a living fit about it because it's rodeo
Yes.
rules. And you do what that pit boss tells you, and that's
Yeah.
it.
That's it.
Wow.
That's the card you're
'Cause,
dealt.
well, let me. So we've got 2 other gentlemen here that cook there. Was y'all allowed to au jus and dust and everything? Look, I see smiles. Look at that. Look at that. Are we allowed to dust and au jus before we put it in the box?
Rodeo rules.
Rodeo rules. I was told that nothing puddles in the bottom of the box. So
Yeah.
Yep.
You doing that?
that's for what it's worth.
So my pit boss this year, and that's always been, ours is just, pull it off and you slice it, you au jus it, and then you put it in the box.
Yeah.
My judge this year said, you slice it, you put it in the box, don't touch it.
Are you serious?
Yeah, baby.
You couldn't do nothing to it. Slice it and straight to the box.
Slice it and straight in the box. And I got to my 7th slice and I was like, man, this is going to be hell. And I looked at my 7th slice. I was 3/4 full of my box. And I was like, man, here we go. I made 3 more slices and grabbed them all together and just shoved it in the box and pushed everything back. And I said, well, here we go. Let's see what happens.
Wow.
And I've never been so. It was a great brisket. hey, it was. I mean, obviously the damn thing tastes good.
Right.
And Carissa came up at one point and she looked down at the box and look at Trenton. Trenton is right there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Trenton's been one of my pit bosses before.
Wow.
And Carissa turned down. Carissa, I've never seen Carissa do this before. She walked up on my box and she looked down and she looked at me and she said, "What in the hell is this?" I said, "Just shut up and close the box."
Wow. Oh my goodness. Well, Chris, let's hear from you, man. I mean, did you have a mean head judge, or let's first start about let's first. What's this deal? You be laying off for a year and a half. You come out and get a grand champion little tune up after a year and a half, and then you go off the next weekend and you win a world championship. What's up with that stuff, man?
Yeah. So everybody knows, we used to cook 40, 50 events a year, and COVID hit. Of course, everything died down, in cook-offs. And so we were at Justin West's house actually one weekend, and we had a little friendly cook-off. All the wives cooked, and just basically just getting together to hang out. Well, his little boy had a dirt bike. Long story short, his little boy had a dirt bike. Mine was into dirt bikes, and they rode that little dude all day. I think they ran out 10 gallons of gas.
Oh goodness!
And that started that deal. My boy started racing and all that, so we got hot and heavy, and then just didn't have time to cook. So a year and a half, almost 2 years go by, and I'm like, we need to go cook something. And I went to Oklahoma and did a little deal for some buddies, and they were asking. They said, "Man, we want you to cook Houston for us." Previously I'd cooked for Meat Church and Miller Lite. And this year they didn't invite them back for some reason. And so the county I grew up in, those guys asked me, they said, "Man, we'd love for you to come hang out and cook for us, or with us." And I was like, "Okay, let's do that." So they had a Jasper County Go Texan, which is how, they have little events and stuff where they raise money for their scholarships. So I said, "Hell, let's go down. I'll come down and, like you said, a little tune up." And we ended up GC.
Right.
Surprised, we had good food.
Right.
So, and I cooked one other time at home. I cooked one other brisket. And last weekend was my second full brisket on a drum. And ended up fourth, top four in brisket.
Wow. Then you cooked on a drum on your brisket?
Yeah.
That was the first or second time cooking on a drum?
It was my second brisket on a drum, and we hit fourth with it at Houston.
Wow. That was pretty dang good. I guess you're going to be a drum cooker now on a brisket, huh?
Hey, sucker turns out a pretty good brisket.
Yeah. Robert can tell you that.
Yeah.
Yeah, pit balls. Yeah, that's it. Wow. So you got down there. Tell us a little bit, obviously, you got invited. You went down there. You did a couple cook-offs. So what happened when you got down to rodeo?
Yeah, so we got invited down to cook for Hardin County, where I grew up, and they told me, said, you don't have to come in and do do any of the mass cooking like Robert said. You don't have to do any of that. I helped out where I could, but I tried to stay out of their way, and mainly just hung out. Got to see a bunch of friends I hadn't seen in a long time, and tried to not drink too much beer. And
right.
At least try to turn something in good, and had a really good cook. It just everything when it comes together, it comes together.
Yeah.
Right.
And it was crazy because all three of our meats were just excellent. We really, really liked all of our turn-ins, and lo and behold, we finaled in brisket and ribs.
So how did you fit? I know you won first place rib. And congratulations on that. How did you do on fourth brisket?
Fourth brisket, and our chicken was 175.
And that's the one that killed you.
That was the one that killed us.
You had got anything probably in the top 100, you would have won that deal.
Yeah.
Wow. So, wow. Wow. That just
our chicken,
sucks.
And it was good. Like the whole team just loved the chicken.
Right.
And I tried it, and I was like, I won a lot of money cooking chicken like that. And,
right.
Everybody's like, "Man, you've got a shot." Even on stage, I was talking to a few guys, and they were like, "Man, it's going to be you and Justin, you know, if y'all didn't bomb, because Justin West had two finals as well.
Right.
I was like, man, we've got a shot at winning this, and we ended up bombing chicken. So
wow. Well, I wouldn't say you bombed chicken. I would just say you really caught a crappy table. So
yeah,
man alive, that is crazy. Wow. So you finished. How did you finish overall?
we ended up 9th overall.
9th overall.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Justin West beat us by 0.01 points for 8th.
Yeah, I just saw him. Hey, Hatcher, how about that 0.01? Oh, my gosh. Oh, man, oh, man, oh, man. Wow. That
And
is
the lady that does dessert on our team, Stacy, she turned in a cheesecake, and she wasn't very happy with the appearance and stuff. And I told her, I said, look, after the first person takes a bite of that box, your appearance score's done. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, and that's almost like any turn in.
right.
And I told her, I said, that's probably one of the best desserts I've ever eaten in my life.
Right.
And lo and behold, she hit a second place dessert.
So she had second, and she was on y'all's team. Wow,
Yeah.
that is amazing.
So that was pretty awesome as well.
Yeah, that's absolutely amazing. Yeah, there was some good cooks there, no doubt. I want to real quick go ahead. I had a question pop up just a second ago, and I've got to give him a shout out, and give me just a second while I go find it because it got lost in the comments. So where in the heck is it? There we go. I want to give a shout out to this young man. I know a couple of y'all probably know Mr. Brody. I got my first world championship this weekend too for the kids cook. Any advice for when I come cook against adults? I think the biggest advice, Brody, we're going to give you is take a drum and fill it full of pine. Just go get some green pine, and that's probably going to give us old adults, as you call us, a half-assed chance to compete against you. Because I don't know if y'all know. Do y'all know? I know Robert. You know Brody. Do you know Brody? What about Dwayne? Do you know Brody and Bo Daniels? No. Yeah, they cook more down toward the Houston area. Bo Daniels, he's a great customer of ours. He's bought a ton of classes. He's always supportive of Barbecue Champs. And his son, man, he has just become quite the dang cook. He's been tearing it up in the kids' queue. And he got down there and cooked, and obviously he won a world championship this weekend down there. It doesn't surprise me, and I guarantee you it ain't going to be long. He's going to be coming in to cook with the adults as well. So congratulations to him, man. What advice would we give you? Man, I don't know. You're going to probably show up and probably be teaching us after about a half a dozen cooks because you're a heck of a cook, that's for sure. So just go out, man, and do what you do. You know, you've done incredibly well. And just take that knowledge and, you know, put it to good use, man. But congratulations, Brody, on a credible weekend for you as well. So
just don't overthink it.
Yeah, don't overthink it. That's
Keep it
exactly
simple.
right. Yep. Let's see what Dustin said. Brody is a legend in his own making. Yeah, that's it. Hashtag barbecue stud. That's it. So he's a great cook. Yeah, I don't want to give him any more advice. He's already good enough. Just stick with that green pine, buddy. Put it on there. It puts a great bark on that brisket, I promise you. So anyway, but man, I tell you what, you guys have had a great weekend. I mean, and it was really cool. I was like, well, I know I can get Robert on the show. I want to thank, just real quick, and let me just give me a half a second. Let me get digging around here. I mean, I got comments coming in galore, and I'm trying to keep all of them. Where the heck is she at? Well, I don't see her. So anyway, yes, this lady right here. So Carissa has hijacked Robert's account. Yeah. And Carissa spent about an hour and a half trying to get that computer where it would actually work, and they connected it to their phone, so they're streaming this stuff off of their cell service, which works better than Wi-Fi. I'm sure half a dozen of you, or maybe 10 of y'all, have been on our podcast before, and Robert is constantly cutting in and out. He's skipping. Carissa was like, I'm going to get this fixed today, and Robert's going to be able to get on there and never buffered. And so far, Robert, it hasn't buffered, and it's been great. So thank you, Carissa, for getting everything fixed up where we can actually see Robert. But when it was all said and done, I was like, I've got to get Robert on the show. I mean, I know he'll be on it because he's part of Barbecue Champs. And Robert, thank you so much for what you've done and the people that you have helped in competition barbecue, brother. I mean, you have helped a tremendous amount of people that have taken your class on Barbecue Champs. And then I was like, well, I know Chris, and I know Dwayne. I've cooked against both of these, been beat by both of them. And I was like, I've just got to send them out to see if we can get, a first place brisket, a first place rib, and obviously the reserve grand champion. I didn't know who it was that won the reserve. And man, I sent both of Chris and Dwayne, a little private message on Facebook Messenger, and like, heck yeah, man, this will be great. So it's pretty cool to have this amount of talent, that did this well at Houston this weekend, man. I first of all just want to congratulate all of y'all for an amazing job this weekend. So,
I've cooked, like I said, I've been at rodeo for many years, and this was probably, for me, this was probably number one. This is my 20th year of cooking and winning first place brisket. But for me, that really stood out to me was this was probably the first year. Look at Serge. Sergio's a great dude.
Yeah.
This is probably for me looking on the stage. Of course, whenever you're not part of you're the head cook, you don't go on stage. You stand out in the crowd with everybody else.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
So I was standing out in the crowd and just looking on the stage. I seen more competitive cooks than I've ever seen on that stage by far. And I really felt like this year, that it was going to be, it's and for people to understand what I'm saying is that used to rodeo was rodeo rules, and they had their own kind of little deal going on, and it was corporate life and corporate money, and that's the way we all looked at it. Now, if that was it, I don't really know, and I can't say that it was because I don't know. But seeing the teams that are on the stage that are actually up there competing and winning, it showed me that it's and for people looking out and looking in, that rodeo is a competition. Because with you two guys, with you two gentlemen down there, I mean, it shows that competitors can go to rodeo and win.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Everywhere you turned, there was a good competition cook. Everywhere you looked, it was like, oh, look, gosh, dang. You start looking around, and it's like, man, you got Bill and Phil and Fred and just you. And it's like everywhere you looked, it was like, oh, my gosh, this thing is stacked out here.
Mm-hmm.
You see a corporate team, and then you see a comp cook say, hello.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
yeah. That's crazy. That's crazy.
It's for me, it was a really cool turning point that barbecue has really gone that far, that these corporate teams are understanding that it's not all about going out here and drinking beer and everything like that. It's about showing your customers that we can come out here and we can compete and we can win, and we can win barbecue. And I always say barbecue sells. Trophies. Yeah. Dwayne can go next week. Chris can go next week, and they can pick up a sponsor probably anywhere on turn any rock over and pick up a sponsor next week. Barbecue sales. You walk, you get trophies. You're going to line up your sponsors, and they'll start putting gas in your tank. Yeah,
absolutely. Let's see, Justin West, multiple comp cooks on one team. You're cooking against Murderer Row on each meet. Yeah,
that's a good representation.
Yeah,
that's for sure. Bill Purvis just popped in. You guys killed it. Congratulations to all. So, yeah.
Yeah, it kind of goes back to what Robert was saying. You get on stage, and I mean, that was my first time on stage, and you're looking around, and you're like, man, there's some badass cooks up here.
Right.
What you don't realize when you look out in that crowd, there's 200 other ones out there that could be up there just like you know, and then it's pretty humbling.
Right.
What's crazy about the rodeo is, I mean, if you don't have a guaranteed spot like Robert has for the last 20 years, if you're a comp cook and you get in with the team, that may be your only chance. So some of those guys, they bring their A game because they know that if I don't do something, this corporate team or whoever has me cooking their spot, because I don't think you can just walk up and get a spot. It's like, crazy waiting list. The counties aren't giving up their spots.
Right.
And so it's, if you're cooking Houston Rodeo, you're blessed and lucky to be there and have a spot. Just because it's really for 4 days, it's, or 3 days, it's an atmosphere like no other.
It's a marathon.
Yeah.
That whole week is tough.
Yeah, just crazy.
From parking passes to turn in.
Yeah, the whole 9 yards. Wow. So I have a question, because Robert really, and it's pretty cool to have somebody that's been there 20 years and they see all these different things. So I've got some questions for you. Now, Robert, when he was slicing his brisket, the head judge is standing there and said, you cut it and it goes straight to the box. You can't do nothing to it, which is, usually you always want to put a little au jus, or you may have to put some salt or something on it. He couldn't. So what about you, Chris? Was your hands tied? Did he let you au jus it and do anything?
He told me I could do whatever. I mean, he said, interpret the rules how you want. He said,
Wow.
And he read them off. He said, this is what the rule says, straight out of the rule book, before I sliced. And that went with ribs too. He was like, in the rules, it says no puddling, no sauce in the box.
In the box. But you could do whatever you wanted to on the cutting board, shake it off and put it in the box.
So I said, okay, well, then I'm not going to put anything in the box. I'm going to put straight meat in it.
Yeah.
So I au jus'd my slices. Like, I ran my whole entire process.
Right.
And everything was fine. But, the last year I cooked rodeo, I cooked with Meat Church Miller Lite in 20. And I asked the guy, I've got, my au jus sitting there, and I start painting a slice, and he goes, whoa, what are you doing? I said, I'm getting my brisket ready. He's like, you can't do that. I said, no, I can. He said, well, what is that? He's like, you can't sauce your brisket. I said, that's straight off the brisket. Like, that's out of the pan. I just put it in a pot to heat it up. He goes, oh, okay. Well, then you're fine. You scared me for a minute. I'm like, that brisket might dry out.
Yeah. Robert's probably thinking the same thing over there. So,
but yeah, I mean, our guy this year, he was super awesome. He was real fun. He was real lenient, with us. And he's like, you read the rules and interpret them how you want, as long as you don't put anything in that box other than meat.
Right.
So
wow.
That's what we did.
Wow. Yeah. That's crazy. Now, what about ribs? Could you au jus your ribs or do anything on the ribs?
Yeah. I mean, we just glazed our ribs and set our sauce like normal, and then sliced them and put them in the box.
Okay. Okay. Wow.
And that's where, I had of course, we had the same gentleman. So I just described to him, what I was doing, and I had to actually, but I always set my ribs anyway. So they're going back on the pit. So they went back on the pit after I sliced them. They went back on the pit, and we, set the glaze and set that, and then we pulled them off and then put them in the box.
Right.
Yeah, he was hell bent on that brisket. That was not happening.
But, wow.
And in looking back at it, I feel like it actually did help me a little bit, because when I was doing it and everything like that, it just putting all those pieces together. Now I'm gonna tell you, whenever that box was full, It looked like I took the meatloaf and sliced it and just stuck it in the damn box. Yeah. So that being that it's staying in there, meat to meat, slice to slice, actually probably helped me.
Yeah, it couldn't oxidize, that's for sure. Yeah, it wasn't going to dry out.
It couldn't dry out. It couldn't do anything because it was meat to meat, slice to slice, all in there from front to back. So, at the end of the day, I call it a handicap, but at the end of the day, that dude probably, he probably handed me the first place trophy.
Wow. What about you, Dwayne? I mean, did you have a pretty lenient judge? Did he just say, what does the rules say? He didn't tie your hands or anything?
No, he was, man, he was a really. I mean, I wish I could have this guy every year. This year and then last year too. I had a female, and she was just, man, she was amazing. A couple years ago, I had the situation where the guy said, you know, slice it and put it in the box, and I showed him nicely on the rule where it says that sauce has to be cooked on.
You showed him nicely.
So, I said, sir, but all due respect, it says cooked on, so define cooked, because I'm going to place it back on the drum for about 10 seconds and then put it in the box. Technically, that's a cooked glaze on that brisket. And he says, well, I guess you're right. You can't. It doesn't define the word cook in there. I said, well, so, I mean, I'm not afraid to speak my mind and say, I interpret it this way. Tell me where I'm wrong. I'm going to continue doing. I mean, all they're going to do is tell you to fix it, but I mean, they don't. They just they you know, it's weird because it's just how you interpret the dang rule.
Right.
I interpret it one way, and you know, I want a fair shot because I'm seeing guys on, you know, Pitmaker on Facebook an hour turn in before I am, and they're over there dusting their cutting board. But here I am, not allowed to dust. No, here, look at this video. I am allowed to dust. You know, I just want a fair shot.
Wow. So can you actually dust the cutting board before you put your stuff on?
Rodeo rules.
I did.
Rodeo rules.
Rodeo rules. Okay.
I mean, I did a little.
Yeah, little fairy dust, right?
Yeah,
so they won't let you put nothing on the brisket when it comes off.
It's got to be cooked on.
Yes,
it's got to be cooked on. Okay.
Define how long it's got to be cooked for.
Okay, so you could dust some stuff on the brisket, sauce it, put it back on the grill, cook it for a minute. That's cooked.
Yep.
Take it back off, slice it, and put it in the box. Okay, it's neat because I've never been down there. I've never cooked it, so it's neat. I'm sure a lot of people are like, "Man, this is pretty cool."
It's nerve wracking. It is nerve wracking because you don't know who you're going to get. You don't know what's going to be like.
That's the deal. You know,
yeah,
nerve wracking.
We've always, you know, I've always been up on the front, and you know, about every other year I have the same pit boss. You know, those rows up there for those guys up there, it probably never changes. This is the first time that I've cooked back there with like the Metro teams and the Go Texan teams, and
General Pop.
General Pop.
Gen Pop.
So as my first time being back there, so I really didn't know what to expect. And you know, whenever I met, and of course I'm not going to say his name. When I met him, you know, he was pretty strict. I was like, you know, so I made a phone call to his boss, and I was like, hey, and he was like, "That's your pit boss. You got to listen to him." And I said, "All right, here we go." So, you know, it was most of our pit bosses come in and you're like, here's 10 beers. You sit over at this table and we're going to do this and we're going to give you a box. When he came in, he was like, I don't want any beer. We're taking this very, very serious because this is turn in for the world championship. And I said, shit.
Right. Wow. Yeah. Wow. That's crazy. I tell you what, I want to give a shout out to somebody else, and I know a lot of you guys know him. I want to give a big shout out to Bill Manning as well. Yes. Bill Manning had a 3rd place brisket, and man, we were over in Dallas. We was in Irving. We was out eating. We just got through eating Mexican. We went to Brahms to get some ice cream, and then you know it was going live. I think we was listening to Bill Purvis. He had it going live. And then we heard Bill Manning, you know, like, man, 3rd place brisket. And I was like, holy heck, yeah, that's freaking awesome. It was great to see Bill. He was cooking for him, you know, by himself. And I do want to give Bill a huge shout out. He's done a lot to help us and promote Barbecue Champs Academy's classes and stuff. And man, I want to give that guy a shout out, Bill Manning. I hadn't seen you pop on tonight. But hopefully you got a chance to watch. And congratulations to Bill because he's a great cook and he's been doing really good down there. And to have a 3rd place finish, I know he was happy. So
yeah, and those metro spots. So kind of back what Dwayne was talking about. So you have Harris County. So whenever you're in Harris County, every county that touches Harris County is considered a metro county.
Okay.
So they don't get to send a Go Texan team into rodeo.
I got you.
So what they have is metro cook-offs.
Okay.
And if you win Metro cook-offs, if you win Metro Team of the Year or 1 through 5 Metro teams, they
Right.
give you a spot at rodeo.
Right.
So you're basically and it's you don't get it that year.
Right.
So if I compete this year for Metro and I win Metro this year, I don't get it until next year.
Wow.
So,
okay.
So those guys that get involved in those Metro cook-offs, we did it for a couple of years and won it a couple of years in a row. But it's something that once you get into it, you better stay in it, because once you fall out, you're a year away.
Right.
So that's for Mr. Bill and them guys. I mean, that's extremely a lot of determination to stay in that and keep going. Because, like I said, if you fall out of that little realm, and you're out for a year, you're gone.
Right.
And you probably won't. You probably can't get it back. But that's and it was cool, and that's cool. And Worm. I mean, there was several of those Metro teams that actually competed, that were up on stage, and Worm's been competing for a long time. So has Mr. Bill.
Right.
But like I said, it goes back to how there were so many competitive teams on that stage that made finals. It was a really great year, for rodeo,
absolutely,
and for all of us.
Absolutely. So Louie's got a question, Robert. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much regret do you think the team that dropped you on that Wednesday feels? Oh, they're probably going, God, what the heck did we do? I would imagine. I would imagine they're not real happy that they did that. So
and I really can't. I'm not one of those guys that will stand out there and throw rocks or anything like that. But
no, you're not.
But those and the reason I didn't really pitch a fit about that is because them guys have been competing out there in that spot for 40 years.
Right.
And for the owner to take their last year of turn-ins away from them and give them to me, I think I'd have been damned for the rest of my career at rodeo. That's just something. And the two gentlemen here, that's something that we don't do.
Right.
I lost my ride.
You moved on. You found somebody else, and you got picked up again, right?
Exactly. So, and then next year, I've got my spot back up there in the front where I was going to be this year. So,
there you go.
Like I said, it's just something that we don't do in barbecue world. You just don't. If you can, you just damn sure don't step on somebody's toes, because guess what? They're going to kick you in the face next time.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow. Well, it's been a great show, guys. I really do appreciate y'all taking the time out to tell us about your experience at the rodeo. It was obviously a lot of fun for you, and I may have to get down there next year and do a little filming and get behind the scenes. So, it looks like it's a lot of fun. So
better get some credentials to get behind the scenes in some places.
Yeah,
security guards are no joke.
Yeah, I'll have to call Joey. Joey, can you hook me up with some tickets to get me in? So
passes as you can.
That's it. That's
it. New shoes,
some comfortable shoes. That's for sure.
Or get a handicap cart like Chris had.
Hey, easy.
You should have seen. I saw Chris on turn-in coming around the corner in a motorized wheelchair.
Are you serious?
Hey,
wait a minute, Chris. All right. Let's.
Yeah,
I'm gonna help Chris out a little bit. We had 2 in our tent.
Okay.
Okay.
Hey, we'll probably look like a motorcycle gang with them lined up next year.
Yeah,
there you go.
I need a sponsor for a handicap wheelchair next year out there.
I'm telling you, they save you. I mean, where we were cooking, we're way in the southwest corner. If you're looking at the map, and I mean, it's one of the furthest away. It is. It really is. And you make that 3 times in 3 hours. That's
a long walk.
It's a long walk.
And
so how long is the turn in? I mean, what's your window? Is it a 10-minute before and after turn in?
2 hour. There's really, I mean, what I was told was, you turn in chicken, say at 11, and you try to get there at 11. I mean, if there's no 5 minutes before, 5 minutes after kind of deal.
Okay.
Once you box your product, they tape it. As long as your box is taped when you turn it in, they say you're good.
Okay.
That's great.
Okay.
Try to get there in a decent amount of time.
Right. Right. So how long was the walk typically? 10 minutes, 15-minute walk, or?
It was for me.
I would say it would probably average between 8 and 5 minutes.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, mine was
Wow.
about 8.5 or 6 to 8.5 where I was at, depending on the crowd.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Brisket turn-in was harder because there was a bigger crowd.
Right.
Yep.
I got you. And didn't Jason, I just now see you popped up. Didn't you have didn't Jason have a good call in ribs too?
Ribs.
He got a
Third
third
rib.
rib.
Third in ribs. Okay. I got to give him a shout out as well. It's the crazy thing for us when we're watching it, we see them call first place rib, but we didn't hear Chris Hatcher, and I don't know if you walked on the stage, Chris. We couldn't. I mean, we couldn't tell, and it was sketchy back and forth. I didn't know you won first place rib, and same thing with Robert. They called brisket, and we had no idea who won brisket. Like, okay, who the heck's that? And then after it's all over, we're like, holy crap, Chris won brisket, and Robert, oh my God, Robert won ribs, and Dwayne, I know Dwayne, he got reserve grand champion, but it's really weird. You don't find that out until the next, that night when you guys start posting.
And there's no cell service out there, so you can't post right away.
No.
Yeah,
No
yeah.
service.
No.
Wow.
I got several angry text messages of why didn't I get a text message? I'm like, pretty sure. Yeah.
Yeah, that's for sure.
No cell service.
Wow. Well, guys, I really appreciate you taking the time coming on. I want to give each of y'all a chance to thank your partner, your sponsors, and stuff like that. Dwayne, we started with you. Let's head over to you, brother.
Yeah, well, just a real quick shout out to what I call the Region 1 guys back in old IBCA days. But, I mean, we had a good showing for all us North Texas guys with Chris,
Yeah.
James, and Erica. I think the North Texas folks should be very proud of our
Absolutely.
shows down
Yeah.
there. But, my main sponsors is, myself, Turnbo Barbecue Company. You can find my rubs on Facebook. And then also Brooks Drums. James Brooks is a great friend of mine.
Yeah.
Check out his new rub. I utilize it quite a bit, as well as his drums. I mean, those are my two. That's my boy right there.
Right.
And James is a great cook.
Yep. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Chris?
Man, I'd really like to thank Hardin County, Go Texan, for bringing me on this year. It was pretty neat to get to cook for the county I grew up in, and all those people I've been friends with for my whole life pretty much. So really want to thank them. Of course, Meat Church. I've been with Meat Church for many, many years. Texas Pepper Jelly and Traeger and Royal Oak. They've all been really, really good to me over the years. So I really appreciate everything they've helped us with.
That's awesome. Well, all right, Mr. Robert, you're up.
Yep. So, of course, I really want to reach out to the community, the community that I live in, Waller County. I consider this team, it's, Robert Davis and them gentlemen, they just, to reach out that open hand to let me cook with them. It was just an amazing feeling. And to get that gentleman on the stage for us, I mean, that was, we didn't know if we was going to have to call the paramedics or not, but it's an extreme honor to represent, we go down there and compete a lot, but to represent my hometown and my community here in Hempstead and, Waller County, it was an extreme privilege for me. And, with Pit Boss and Gateway and, Blues Hog, them guys keep me traveling and going down the highway, and Shell Rotella, keep me traveling and getting to do what I do, what I love, of course, when same thing with these two gentlemen here, our families, they pretty much kind of get left on the back burner sometimes. So,
yeah,
but, I really
can't leave out the wife.
Yeah.
It's, I mean, they keep it held down at home, every weekend. So
100%.
That's it. So it's an extreme honor for me, and it's an extreme honor to be on this table. This podcast with you two gentlemen that I consider you two great gentlemen, and I've been doing this for a long time. And it's from where we started, 20 years ago, and even 10 years ago. Barbecue has definitely made a turn, and I feel like it's made a turn for the better because, I mean, you can. Where else can you go to a world championship and have somebody give you a brisket?
Yeah, that's for sure.
I started 10 years ago with a Walmart smoker in the back of my truck. I couldn't even afford an Easy Up when I started cooking.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Thank you guys. I appreciate it. Thank y'all for everything.
Thank y'all so much for being here. We certainly do want to thank all of our listeners tonight. We really do appreciate y'all's loyal support to be with us each and every Tuesday night at 7 o'clock Central, 8 o'clock Eastern. As you see, we had people from coast to coast. Usually we have several people from Australia. I guess they didn't make it up this morning, but we also want to thank those folks as well. We got a big crowd over there that's always following us. I really appreciate it from the bottom of my heart for all the support that you guys have given Barbecue Champs Academy. I want to thank Robert Smith once again for what he is doing. Just so y'all know, any class that Robert that you buy of Robert's class, all of the money that would normally go to Robert, his cut out of it, goes straight to the Joey Smith and the Texas Chrome Heroes Foundation. That was the agreement that they set when we was down in Hempstead, Robert, when I was at your cook-off down there. He was like, I'll do your class, but I don't want any of the money. I want it to go to Robert. I want it to go to Joey and the Texas Chrome Heroes Foundation. And I don't want it any other way, or I'm not going to come there and film your class. And Robert, thank you so much, because I know Joey has told me time and time again how much it has helped that organization and all those people that are suffering from PTSD, and the men and women that served in our armed forces and first responders. So thank you so much for that, Robert, and thank you for being part of Barbecue Champs. I appreciate everybody that's been on here tonight. Thank you so much. We're going to try to line up a big show for next week as well. Y'all go out there, enjoy the rest of your week.